Are you seeing the signs?
I am your voice. I alone can fix it.
Fascists rile up their followers to seek revenge on the elites.
The out-of-touch media elites, the political elites, but the elites from the elites who led us from one financial and foreign policy disaster to another.
To fascists, the state is a means of asserting that superiority.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you.
Fascists seek state power to achieve their ostensible goal, achieving their vision of society.
Our people are tougher and stronger and meaner and smarter.
For the fascist, war and violence are means of strengthening society by culling the weak and glorifying heroic warriors.
I am your warrior. I am your justice. I am your retribution. I am your...
In the lives of great nations, there are moments of destiny which have swept aside small men of convention and discovered men of the moment. I want to tell you, good folk first, that with the dawn of a new decade, I will be setting a new course, setting up a new political movement here. For generations, the efforts of hard-working men like you have equipped our competitors against us. They are the ones who took your money. But it is I and those who know this truth who will light a flame the atheists cannot extinguish. I say all this to you now because I believe it is in places like this with people like you that we will have to pass on our message directly. Our message can be summarized with these words. Britain first to hear my words and pass them on to those with ears to hear. And be reminded that when the new decade begins, there will be the birth of a new political party which will speak for a party. This new movement, this revolution, will be called the British Union of Fascists.
So to all Americans, in every city, near and far, small and large, from mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words. You will never be ignored again. Together, we will make America strong again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
What's good, everybody? RJ here, and this is Coffee and Convos. This is my reading voice. This is a space for conversations, thought, and reflection. I'm here to think out loud, ask better questions, and challenge the stories we're told to accept without examination. You're welcome here. So grab a cup, take a breath, and let's have a real conversation. I'm thinking about 1984 as a reference for today, not as prophecy, not as panic, but as pattern recognition. For anyone who has not read it, Orwell's novel is not only about cameras or obvious police states. It is about what happens when power erodes shared reality, when language is twisted, when people are trained to accept contradictions. Orwell called it doublethink, the ability to hold two opposing ideas at once because authority demands it. People often say that this cannot be authoritarianism because life looks normal. We still have movies, we still have the sports, we still go out to eat, we scroll, we laugh, we argue online. But Orwell warned that tyranny would not arrive by shutting everything down. It would hollow out truth while everything still appeared intact, control without collapse. That is a more sophisticated version. What we're seeing is not classic fascism with uniforms and marching in the streets, but one could argue with ICE. It is something quieter. I think of it as diet fascism. Institutions remain, but their credibility is attacked unless they comply. Criticism becomes betrayal. Loyalty becomes the highest virtue. Reality bends around one figure. Scholars like Robert Paxson and James Stanley describe how authoritarian movements survive not as just through force, but through repetition, grievance, myth-making, and slow destruction of shared truth. This is why the movie They Live by John Carpenter feels relevant again. For anyone unfamiliar, the film isn't really about aliens. It is about propaganda hidden in plain sight.
God. I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
The main character puts on special glasses and suddenly sees what was always there: billboards and media messages stripped down to their real commands. Obey, consume, do not question. Everyone else sees normal advertising and normal life. Only the people willing to look feel uncomfortable. That's the pattern that matters. And they live, nothing looks oppressive until you can see the messaging underneath. The system does not rely on force first. It relies on distraction, repetition, and people choosing comfort over awareness. That's how power stays invisible. Symbols matter. The swastika did not gain power because of its original meaning. It gained power because of its inseparable form from one man and one movement. Today, MAGA functions similarly, and vague by design, centered on an individual, and criticism of that individual becomes an attack on identity itself. Loyalty replaces principle. The movement becomes the man. Details that people dismiss matter. In a 1990 report, Ivana Trump told her lawyer that Donald Trump kept a book of Hitler's speeches by his bedside. Accounts differ on whether it was Mein Kampf or another compilation, but the association has been reported by major outlets. Fascination with authoritarian propaganda is not harmless when paired with rhetoric that undermines democratic norms. These dynamics do not remain symbolic. They show up in policy and force. ICE agents have detained U.S. citizens despite valid identification. Wrong house raids have occurred. In Minneapolis, U.S. citizens were shot during enforcement operation under circumstances that raise serious public questions. These incidents are not abstract. They are real people encountering state power. Black Americans have been dealing with that kind of institutional structure as far back as the establishment of the country. Control of ideas follows the same pattern. In Fahrenheit 451, books are not burned overnight. They disappear because society is convinced that they are dangerous or divisive. In 2025, books tied to the diversity of Black history were removed from the U.S. Naval Academy Library under a DEI purge before public pressure forced the reversal. The tactic revealed the instinct. Limit what future leaders are exposed to, and you shape what they believe. Media pressure works the same way. Jimmy Kimmel was taken off air indefinitely following FCC pressure during the Trump administration. He returned only after public petitions. That was not a ban in traditional sense. It was suppression, though, through regulation and fear. You do not need to silence everyone. You need to make someone an example. Foreign policy also reveals mindset. Military actions absorbed have moved forward without clear congressional authorization, even while campaign promises emphasize ending foreign entanglements.
I will tell you, you're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you. We're going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated.
Crisis becomes justification. Emergency becomes habit. The contradiction is not accidental. Promise restraint, invoke urgency, and a consolidation of power. There's Venezuela in early 2026. The U.S. launched military action aimed at the regime change without clear congressional authorization, prompting international condemnation and war powers response in Congress. When checks on power are treated as optional, that is not strength. On February 28th, 2026, the United States joined Israel in a coordinated military strike against Iran, targeting military facilities and strategic sites aimed already rising tensions in the region. The operation was framed as necessary for national security, yet it proceeded without clear congressional authorization or any public debate. Civilian casualties were reported, regional retaliation began without immediately lead, and global leaders warned of wider instability. The issue is complicated. Iran's regime is authoritarian and hostile. The region is volatile, but complexity does not erase constitutional process. When a president bypasses Congress in matters of war, the danger is not only external conflict, it is an internal precedent. Authoritarian movements often rely on perpetual crisis. Crisis justifies consolidation. Consolidation becomes normal. The public is told strength requires action, and questioning that action is framed as weakness. That is how emergency becomes governance. Distraction ensures all of this goes unchecked. The Epstein Files were promised with transparency, and yet what was released was partial and heavily redacted. Names without context, information without clarity. Crisis cycles keep attention fractured. Orwell warned that perpetual emergency destroys memory. Bradbury warned that the noise destroys the thought. Now, there's another layer here: artificial intelligence. Recent reports show that Trump's administration aggressively petitioning the federal government inside advanced AI systems used by millions of people. After a dispute with one of the AI firms over safeguards against domestic surveillance and autonomous weaponization, the administration pivoted toward deeper integration with AI platforms as OpenAI through defense partnerships and classified network deployment. The companies involved insist there are guardrails. Critics warn that the legal framework does not fully prevent expanded data use or surveillance applications. This is not science fiction. It is merging of state power with systems that learn from massive pools of human information. When government authority intersects with AI infrastructure at scale, transparency and oversight matter more than ever. Orwell's Big Brother was about visibility. The state seeing you while you cannot see it. In the modern era, visibility runs through data. When power gains proximity to that pipeline, even in name of security, the line between protection and control grows ever thinner. This is how authoritarian behavior evolves in the 21st century. Not through dramatic shutdowns, but through normalization. Not through loud declarations, but through layered contradictions. Promise peace while expanding force. Defend freedom while narrowing access to information. Deny surveillance while deepening technology reach. This is not about claiming we live in Nazi Germany. It's about recognizing shared methods, the erosion of shared truth, the elevation of loyalty above law, the conditioning of compliance, the curating of history, the merging of crisis and authority. In 1984, Big Brother is not just obeyed, he's loved. Emotional loyalty overrides logic. Once political identity fuses with a single figure, democratic correction becomes nearly impossible. That is not panic, it is awareness. Remember our ideals. Do not let them piss on your leg and call it rain. Awareness isn't radical, it's necessary. The phrase "stay woke" before it was hijacked and mocked simply meant paying attention to the power and its tactics. Being vigilant keeps you prepared. Being prepared keeps you protected. Please, stay woke. Well, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below to finish the conversation. There's merch in the description box, and I guess I'm gonna bring this video to an end. I don't want you to be you, do you, see the bigger picture. Have a fantastic day because you deserve it. This is that channel. Peace.